Let's go with Moldred, also from New York. Moldred. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hi. Not too bad. I had a really quick question before we get into anything else, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Where do you get those candles?
Oh, well, we ordered a couple trial ones, I believe from some merch shop, and they look pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, they do. I'd like to get some. Could you email me the website or the location or something?
I don't believe they're currently for sale, but once and if they do get up on there, then we're going to be shipping them out via our merch store. So definitely keep an eye out for that in the future.
No, I was looking to get custom ones.
Oh, for like himself or his friends or something.
Oh, well, you could probably find that. You can email tv@atheist-community.org for more information about that.
Okay, yeah, all right. Let's get into it. One more thing before we go on. The only tangible proof of God that I've ever seen is you can find right behind your left shoulder there, and I sent that to you. I hope you. Thank you for putting it up.
Frosted Faith?
No, guaranteed overnight delivery.
Oh, the God truck. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, so what are we getting into today? You say that there are differences between religion and spirituality?
Yes, I sent you an email. I don't know if you have time to read the whole thing, but...
Well, for my sake, since I'm a guest on the show, why don't you break it down for us real quick?
Do you want to summarize kind of what you were saying there, and then we can jump from there?
Yeah, sure. Religion, bottom line, religion is top down and gives people a method to handle life's events, births, deaths, marriages, funerals, things like that. And it's written as a lot of religions are like written in books and organized and things like that. It's very top down. Somebody tells people in religion, how to do stuff. Well, spirituality is bottom up. Somebody has an experience that's outside their normal everyday experience, and trying to figure it out, they appreciate the world more, which is why I literally lost faith in any organized religions.
Okay.
But I had experiences out of the ordinary, and trying to figure them out, I've become pretty much a pantheist.
Okay.
But an agnostic pantheist, because I'm willing to admit I could definitely be wrong about the whole thing. But I think that there is, basically,
So, Moldred, Moldred.
Okay, all right, go ahead,
Sorry. That seems like a great place to kind of jump in and have a little bit of conversation. So I'm going to bracket it here, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more and maybe move on once I understand a few more things about kind of where you're coming from. Okay. So you say you had a couple of experiences that you couldn't explain. Is there a reason that you decided to interpret those experiences through a pantheistic lens? What about pantheism proved itself to you as a valid way of determining whether or not these things are explainable?
Because pantheism, to me, encompasses the whole cosmos. That everything can be tracked back to the singularity that people call the Big Bang, and everything from there is connected.
Moldred, can I get your definition of pantheism real quick?
So
yeah.
Pantheism, basically, everything is connected on some level.
What do you mean by some level?
What do you mean by connected? More questions.
Like I said, traces back to the singularity Big Bang.
Okay.
Do you think it's supernatural?
If that hadn't happened to create this particular universe, then nothing else that goes on would have happened.
So pantheism is, wow, the universe is cool? Because I can get down with the universe being cool, but I'm not sure how that translates into some kind of deistic.
Cool, and it's also it's cool that everything on some level is connected.
Moldred, I'll tell you where my spidery senses are tingling right now, and it's with the word pantheism comes so much baggage, and not necessarily from you.
Not for me.
But when I hear the universe is connected, I deal with a lot of people who make claims about psychic phenomenon and how there's just energy connecting us. And they're never able to define exactly what this energy is. They're not able to give, units of measurement that we can actually test it. They're not giving a way that we can detect it, or if they do, those tests always come back negative. And so my question is, if it's all connected, do you just mean in some sort of butterfly effect type of way where what I do here will affect what happens in the future because of some chain of events? Or do you mean that we're all somehow connected by some sort of cosmic energy that's never been detected or tested in any way, shape, or form?
Oh, well, if we are connected by some sort of energy, it's quantum. It's quanta. It's not, or it could be.
That word gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah,
Can you break that down for us?
Yes, if you can explain how quanta.
Because
quantum is, what did Richard Feynman say about if you think you understand quantum physics, you don't understand quantum physics?
I have a love-hate relationship with that quote because he actually did have a pretty good understanding of quantum physics. And he was...
Yeah, more than you and me, I'm sure.
And the fact is, when it comes to quantum mechanics, we may not know exactly why it does something the way that it does, or why particles behave in a particular way, but we know to a massive degree of certainty that that things behave in a way that is predictable, to the point where all of the electronics that we run our lives around are all based on quantum mechanics. And they all operate consistently according to the laws of nature. So it's if you're going to go that route, you've got to tell me where, you can throw the word quantum out and be like, well, nobody understands it, so it's just spooky action at a distance. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but how does that allow for some type of, weird energy connection that's observable and testable at the macro level? I'm not talking about between electrons. I'm talking about at the macro level consistently somehow violating all the rest of the laws of physics, or even if it doesn't, somehow there's some force that we can test or detect or see or feel or something. And until I've got that, then I'm like, okay, that's cool to throw out the word quantum, but it's kind of meaningless.
Right. It's fun to theorize about and to think about, what if we don't know everything we think we know? And what if there are scientific explanations yet to be discovered about how the world works? That's so much fun. And I'll have that conversation all day. Yeah. But to base a worldview around it to the extent that you identify as a pantheist, it doesn't seem like that's a very strong foundation for the claims that you're making.
Well, that's why yeah.
And I'd go a step further and say
that's why I'm an agnostic pantheist. It's basically because if there's any religion or philosophy that I subscribe to, it's the one that it's Eris Discordia. Which I was ordained by Robert Anton Wilson, and so I'm an Erusian Pope.
I don't know who that is.
You're Erusian Pope too, but let's basically the Eris Discordia is an avatar of chaos, and the universe is on some level is chaotic, and people impose grids on that to try and figure out what's going on. But basically, at the very core of everything is chaos.
I mean,
And
as we
chaos
define chaos,
discordia is like the personification of chaos. It's you know, it's.
By chaos, do you mean entropy?
It's not like the worst thing you could possibly do would be to worship Eris. I mean, that's like saying, "Here, screw up my life," but it probably won't happen. You know.
Well, I can probably very much agree that wouldn't happen if you decided to worship Eris. Nothing would happen as a result of that, apart from people might laugh at you. But my concern here is that if you are an agnostic, I don't know. I don't understand why you're clinging to a word that you're seeming to redefine into something completely different. Because pantheism, basically, to my understanding, and feel free to correct me on this if I have a different definition than you, is that you believe that the universe is somehow a god or supernatural or conscious. Do you believe that the universe is conscious in a way that is that a thing that you believe?
I don't believe that planets and suns and things like that are conscious, but I do believe that there are consciousness. There is a consciousness of living things in the universe. I think everything that's alive in any form, including trees and bacteria and everything like that, has some awareness. You could call consciousness.
So panpsychism?
And I wanted to correct one thing. I do not believe in the supernatural. I believe anything that happens is natural. To quote Robert Anton Wilson, anything that can happen will happen. Not anything, but what can happen.
Okay, so I don't know. I feel like we're going in a bunch of different directions. And my main concern through it all is you are using a definition of a word, pantheism in this case, to explain events that happen that you cannot explain otherwise. And I'm curious about why you feel like pantheism specifically is something that explains your experiences, and whether or not you think that's a good model to base truth claims off of.
Did we lose him?
Hello?
No, I'm still here. I was waiting for her to finish talking. I don't know, for some reason the
lag.
YouTube videos is not in sync with the talking. So I was waiting.
Yeah,
for
we're a little bit
Okay.
ahead, so I would recommend muting the YouTube video and just talking on the phone.
Yeah, definitely keep the YouTube video off for now.
The reason I told you I was agnostic. I do not say that pantheism is the be all and end all and explains everything. Everything could be explained by the universal. Oh God, what's the
Theory of everything.
universal field theory? What's the thing with the vibrating string theory? Or something like, or quantum mechanics. I am open to any possibilities. I've been studying people's ideas about the universal field theory, trying to understand quantum mechanics, trying to understand string theory, which at the moment, cannot be proven at the moment, but it's still something that people think might explain more. But
Right, we've got lots of theories, and I agree with that, and it's interesting to read about them. But it seems like you're kind of backing yourself out of this corner.
All of that is connected. I'm just using that as a catch-all for what can be explained and what cannot yet be explained. I think that eventually we will understand more about every.
So Moldred, it sounds like you're taking the gaps. It sounds like you're taking the gaps in our understanding and plugging it with pantheism, because you're like, there's things that we don't understand yet. Maybe we'll understand them later. I'm not saying that they won't be proven by science, but right now, like, it's just somehow connected. And you throw out words like quantum without really giving a scientific definition of it. And my question for you would be, why is it that the people who really study these fields in and out, day in and day out, who understand quantum mechanics, who understand, string theory, who understand the grand unified theory and where we're at working on it and stuff, and who are working at these places, why are they not in droves becoming pantheists and saying it all points to pantheism and some interconnected psychic thing? Instead, they're the ones who are the most adamant detractors from that viewpoint and the most adamant critics of it, saying, here's why that's bogus. And the people who tend to jump on the bandwagon can't give you a scientific definition to save their skin.
Hello, Moldred?
Yeah, hello, I'm still here.
Yeah, I really need you to not watch the YouTube video to check when we're done. Once you're done hearing us talk, then we're done, and you can jump in.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, well, my definition of pantheism is different from yours. You're using a definition that somebody else gave you, and I'm using the definition that I've come up with.
Right.
So my definition of pantheism is just that. What's the difference between saying that the universe is that the cosmos is connected, and people working on developing the unified field theory?
See, though, here's the problem with your first point, though, is you said that your definition is different from my definition. I understand that, like, we all have preconceived ideas and notions going into this, and we need to define words so that we can be on the same page and communicate effectively. But if you're going to go by a definition using a word that is in the common vernacular, lexicon of terminology, you have to understand what these words mean. And, like, if you look up pantheism, here's the dictionary definition of pantheism: is a doctrine which identifies God with the universe or regards the universe as a manifestation of God. Or 2, worship that admits or tolerates all gods. So you either worship every single god in existence, or you think that the universe itself is God. And then you can start asking, well, what is God, and defining that. God usually is some type of conscious being, all-powerful being. There's different definitions there. But if you're just going to say, well, I'm a pantheist, and then you redefine pantheism as it's all connected, that's a little deceptive and I'm not saying it's deliberate. I'm not saying you're trying to deceive people, but it's confusing to people. Can you see how that would confuse people when you say I'm a pantheist, but how you define pantheism is not how most people would define it? Yeah.
Hail Eris, all hail Discordia. I'm following my religion.
Okay, so you do have a religion. Next.
We do have to get to more callers.
Yeah, we are going to get more callers.
I'm
yeah. Okay. Well, next time.
Not only I'm an Orisian, I'm also a subgenius.
Moldred, we got to let you go,
bud. Okay. Bye. Oh my goodness.
Can I just say to anyone who's on the line right now, like, turn off the YouTube video, mute the YouTube video, and just, like, as soon as you pick up, at least just listen to us on the phone. It'll be more real time.
Right.
Because those delays and stuff, I thought we lost him a couple times.
Got lost in the quantum a couple times there. In and out.